Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome to another Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever cast. Today, we're going to be on Setons, but really quick, I'd like to say thank you to my patron, Timothy Calderwood. He's subscribed at the $10 a month tier over on Patreon. Go ahead and check out the link in the description if you want to support me that way. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into introducing our players with Team 1 in the top right-hand corner, the most northeastern corner, and we'll start with the air player, a green Cybran by the name of Azile, and he is going first land. Down to his south, we have the rock player. It is going to be a dark green or black, I can't quite tell, UEF by the name of Storm going first air. To his west, we have the front player, a blue UEF going first land by the name of 5-Bag Nash. And to his north, last but not least for Team 1, we have a purple Cybran going first land by the name of Morrow. And let's go ahead and go down to Team 2, where we can see the air player going first land, who is an orange Seraphim by the name of Fisheye. To his north, we have the rock player by the name of Namir. He's going first land, and he is a yellow UEF. To his east, we have the front player, a green Seraphim by the name of Wounded Elk Noob. Actually, it's Noonded Elk Womb. Is that really? Or Woob? Womb, not womb, woob. Noon. It's Wounded Elk Noob, damn it. To his south, we have Willow's Duality, a Cyan Aeon, that's hard to say, going first land, and he's going to be on the beach position. Of course, that is me, and we are going to go ahead and get into the game. We're going to be looking over here to the causeway, to the middle of the map, just to see exactly how the front players are going to be trying to get the reclaim here. A bunch of juicy reclaim, a whole bunch in the Salems, but I believe the majority is actually here in the normal reclaim Rex, or maybe, I know that pros generally go for the normal reclaim and not the Salems, because the Salems reclaim slower. I don't know if the Salems have more than everything else here. I wouldn't guess they did, but generally you go for the smaller Rex, the Loyalists, the Titans that are over here, because they are much faster to reclaim and give you more mass per second when you reclaim them. And that is exactly what Wounded Elk Noob is going to do over here. He does have the priority, as he's the first one here, as 5-Bag Mash decided to get himself, or 5-Bag Nash decided to get himself a little bit more infrastructure before he decided to walk forward. He does have an engineer here, which could possibly sway the reclaim numbers. We will go ahead and tab over here to the mass reclaim section. You can see who's reclaiming the most. Currently, Wounded Elk Noob is the highest, just cresting the 1K mark on reclaim, whereas 5-Bag Nash is at around 700. We'll have to keep an eye on that. We do have a point defense that was started, but it got reclaimed by Wounded Elk as the comm of 5-Bag Nash has shown up. And they are contesting reclaim currently. That's what Wounded Elk Noob is doing. I believe that this is better if you believe you can get control of the middle first to contest it. And we do have the Salem being reclaimed here. And as we can see, the reclaim rate is technically higher, because while this is 901, it takes so much longer than the amount you get from getting these 300s really quickly. And in the amount of time he's done that, I'm pretty sure Wounded Elk Noob has managed to grab another probably 1,000. But then again, he's also going to be ahead because he did have that engineer reclaiming for a little bit up here. So overall, Wounded Elk is slightly ahead on reclaim, and they are still fighting. Let's go ahead and zoom out. We do have bombers on the way, and we do have an island drop over here out from Storm. Storm has secured his island. Not the same over here for Namir yet. And we do have 2 bombers out from Morrow, who is going to be, or Marrow, I don't know how to say that exactly, who's going to be bombing the comm of Wounded Elk Noob. Is there anything on the way to help? We do have some interceptors out from Willow's Duality coming over here to shut down this bomber play. Hopefully it works, and it does look like there was a bomber shot down over here. So there was some bomber play even earlier than this that I did miss. Probably was on the mini-map. And we do have multiple interceptors trying to shoot down these bombers. It does look like it's going to be successful. This interceptor out from Morrow has not quite screened completely for the bombers, but then again, there are more interceptors here for Team 2, and we do have some interceptors coming out from Demir to try and help this out. We have a lot more bombers still being produced, more bombers on the way seemingly constantly. A lot of heavy investment into bombers out from Morrow. But as we're looking at this, we can see 5-Bag Nash is having to retreat towards the water as he has been outclassed in the number of land units over here, whereas Wounded Elk Noob is over here just killing off engineers trying to throw up a PD. That's not going to quite be completed as an overcharge comes in, killing off the last of the engineers working on that PD. And let's go ahead and check on veterancy. It does look like Wounded Elk is closer. He does still have more health than his opponent by about 1,000 health, but that's not a lot of a health advantage. The bombers have stopped flying in. Actually, nope, there's another one over here, but it is pretty well shut down by all of the interceptors out from Namir and Willow's Duality on this match. And oh right, we had a moment where we were stalled for about a minute, where two players couldn't connect to each other, and then they magically connected to each other again. So that's where I was going. And high storm waves in the mirror. It does look like Wounded Elk Noob is going to be pushed into the water momentarily. He is still shooting. He does have that first rank of veterancy and is about 1/4 of the way to his next rank in veterancy. Still just killing off more and more T1 spam units. Currently sitting at 35 kills compared to 19 of his opponent. Getting a lot of value out of that comm. Let's go ahead and check once again on reclaim numbers. We can see that Azile is currently sitting at 3.4k, Storm is at 2.8, 5.2k for 5-Bag Nash, and 1.6k for Morrow. We have Fisheye currently sitting at 3.8 thousand, and we have a drop out from Storm in the main base of Wounded Elk Noob. We didn't quite have a good screen over here for catching that transport. It does look like units are being now averted to deal with this, and I don't think it's going to do very much. He's probably going to get this T2 mechs, and this mechs is in danger, but I don't know if it's going to die in time. I doubt it. This Selin is going to kill off that light artillery, and yes, that did not manage to get the kill. But over here, we do have a lot of units on Wounded Elk Noob, and he's very close to his next rank of veterancy, but there's a sub in the water, so he can no longer retreat into that water. Morrow getting out a very early T1 sub to keep this from being an issue. He could possibly, since now he has that rank of veterancy, push himself back into the water and kill off that sliver with reclaim, but I don't know if he's going to do that. It does look like he might have a chance to survive this. He has 22 health a second on that comm. He's overcharging seemingly constantly, and both comms down to perilously low health. We have 2,800 for 5-Bag Nash and just 1,500 for Wounded Elk Noob. This is a very dangerous situation, and I think they're both going to be ejected right here, right now, and both players have died in the middle, leaving the middle to be given over to allies. I'm guessing they're both going to go to the air players and then going to have to be transferred to another player on the team. And that might change the power dynamic if it does not go to the same player. It does look like Storm was immediately given all of the base of 5-Bag Nash, whereas the base of Wounded Elk Noob, who was the highest rated player in this game and ejected super early, so he's not going to have a huge effect on this game, it is going to be given over to Namir. So he is going to be piloting this frontal flank, this frontal position. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and check on the mass income for each of these players. We can go ahead and check on the top dogs right now, who are going to be Azile, currently sitting around 100 mass a second. He is... Actually, it's looking more like 70 for him now. And then Storm, his ally, who's actually ahead of him since he got the base of 5-bag Nash, is at 93. He is having a little bit of trouble spending his mass, but he's not quite overflowing yet. And their ally Morrow is currently sitting around 45 after spending so much in the early game on his bomber strategy. He does have his comm currently going to the middle, which is a very strong move. There's not going to be a calm down here, so it does give an advantage to Team 1 over here in the middle. We'll have to see how that plays out. We do have another dropout here. It wasn't quite taken down by the interceptors of Willow's Duality, but the calm is coming out to kill off these. We do lose a T2 mechs, and that is painful. And let's go around checking on the mass incomes. We can check on Fisheye, who's currently sitting. He's stalling pretty hard, but I would guess whenever he's done stalling, he's going to be sitting somewhere around 80 to 90 mass a second. Namir is currently the leader for Team 2, currently at 103 mass a second. So that's actually on par with Storm, if I'm recalling correctly. And around 35 mass a second for me, because I have not eco-hoard properly, and I just lost a T2 mechs. I am bad at this game, as I have said multiple times before, but let's go ahead and keep going on. We're gonna have to see what the two big players in this game, Namir and Storm, are going to have to decide how they want to approach this game, how they want things to go, because they currently have the most map control and the most income, so they have to do something with it. We can see over here a little bit of an exchange. Let's see what this says. I wasn't going to play him. Wait. For the help, we should be able to win this. GG Elk. I wasn't going to play a major part in this anyways. I'm not very good on my laptop, so you could even call it... You could call it an even trade. Yeah, I would have fought better, but I'm playing on my microwave. You dare mock me! Oh god, I love this. I usually use my fridge. That's what I'm best on. Next time we meet, you won't be so lucky. I'll make sure to play on my Nintendo Switch where I'm best at. Probably gonna get hit -1 soon, so bye-bye. I'm def losing bot. Oh, that's me saying I'm gonna lose bot Navy. I believe I thought that because he did get this eco over here, but now that I think about it, he's eco-whoring better than me anyways, so I was gonna lose bot Navy regardless of if he got this. So yeah, we do have an assault out from Marrow over here on the northern pond. He is approaching a T1 naval factory. It does seem that he has a little bit of an advantage, as he does have torpedo bombers. There's some interceptors from Willow's Duality and Namir out over here trying to deal with these torp bombers, and it does look like they're going to. They don't quite have air control over here. A Corsair was brought out. I believe that was just to kill off interceptors, but that's gonna die pretty promptly once these interceptors over here start moving in, and an ASF, of course, out from our air player Fisheye. And that has managed to kind of stop that assault in its tracks. There are a lot of T1 spammed out units from Namir, which you would expect since he does have a lot of factories and now a lot of eco to throw into his own navy. So that is going to be somewhat of a pivotal moment. If they could have forced him out of the water right now, that could have been very useful for Team 1. That would have definitely been a nail in the coffin for Team 2, who is currently behind by about 5,000 mass total, and in general kind of feels like they're on the back foot as of this moment. A lot more eco being accrued by Storm, and if we look at the total mass a second, it is actually even, so maybe they're not really on a back foot at all. Let's go ahead and check on the air players and their ASF counts. We have 4 ASF out from Azile, and let's go ahead and check on Fisheye's ASF count, who's currently ahead at 5, and he does have a strap bomb on the way. We will have to keep an eye on that strap bomb. Sorry about the coughing. I am not quite as sick as I once was. I did go to the doctor, and they did give me some good medicine to deal with it. I'm feeling a lot better as of late, but I'm not 100% yet. My sinuses are still a little messed up, but overall it should be pretty good. going. We do have the ASF coming in to kill the Strat Bomber. It is going to get a T2 Mechs, which is not insignificant, but not the biggest thing in the world, and it does look like he's managed to get it to die and fall off screen. Oh, that's so painful. You don't even get the reclaim. That is a very nice play, but it does look like he's throwing away a lot of ASFs that he did not need to throw away over here. 2 or 3 ASF right now is definitely going to hand over an advantage to his opponent. And with that, it does look like we're going to stabilize for just a second. We have a lot of air production out down here from Namir. He's producing a lot of T1 air, which is always nice to see. Interceptors can still shoot down a Strat Bomber if it's mismicroed in any way, shape, or form. And as we go ahead and settle down, we can check on the ecos again. We can see that I am currently short stacking the entire field at around 70 mass a second, along with Morrow, who's not very far ahead in the eco whoring game either. We have only around 78 mass a second for him. Azile currently sitting at 120 mass a second, and Storm sitting at 160-ish. We have Fisheye sitting at 140 mass a second, and Namir sitting at 196 mass a second. And with all of that accounted for, Team 2 is currently in the lead. They currently have way more eco than their opponents. It does seem like there is a bit of a lead in the Northern Navy. I don't know how much Namir knows. I don't know if he knows how much of a lead he currently has, but he does have quite the substantial lead. He's also the first to Tech 2. He might be able to push on this if he keeps on gathering up T1 units and possibly throws some destroyers into the mix. He could definitely win a naval battle at this point in the match. Whereas on the other side, we can see pretty much the same. Both players have Tech 2 in this bottom pond, but there's a large advantage in terms of production and eco for Storm currently, who just dropped his comm into the water. Is he planning to do anything interesting? What is on his comm currently? He is currently Tech 3, so we could see an Atlantis, or he could just possibly just start throwing out a whole bunch of T2 naval factories to help his naval production along. Let's check on his eco. He is currently not using all of his mass, so he could technically build some T2 naval factories and get a lot more going for him, I guess. That is an option at his side, whereas I'm pretty sure I'm stalling pretty hard. Yeah, that's a stall if ever I saw one. And we just gonna go ahead and get into a little bit of a lull. I'm once again going to check on the air numbers. We have 14 ASF for Azile versus Fisheyes. Currently sitting at 18, so Fisheye is still in the lead there. And I pinged... Oh, I gave an engineer over to Fisheye. I really do like that update where it added the pings have the player's name underneath them. So if somebody starts spamming pings, you can be like, yo, stop, please. Storm stating they're going to run over the beach in a second. We'll have to see how his plans go. A lot of engineers out here trying to reclaim. There's not much reclaim here, though. Let's go ahead and check once again on mass reclaim numbers. Storm currently leading the pack at 10... Or no, Azile leading the pack at 13,000. Storm at 10,000 and 5.3 thousand for Morrow. Versus Fisheye at 8.4k, 4.8k for Namir, and Willow's Duality almost at 7,000. 6.8 thousand currently. Reclaim numbers could be better. I would assume that some of these engineers are going to start reclaiming over here. Is Namir spending his mass? He is, which is always a good sign. A lot of assistance on this T2 factory. He's going to start throwing out a whole hell of a lot of destroyers from the looks of it. Can I actually select this factory and see what his build queue is? We can see a ton of a ton of build units built up over there, or queued to build up over there, which will be very powerful. Checking in once again on ecos. We don't have anything going on over here except for a ton of torp bombers being produced out from Morrow. And checking on ecos, it looks like everybody except for Morrow has managed to crest the 100 mass a second mark. Oh, actually, neither have I. I'm at 99. So most players getting over 100 mass a second at this given time. And that is going to be important for the future. Once you pass that mark, you can kind of just snowball your economy, get a whole bunch of T3 mexes, makes getting them much easier. Everybody ecoing relatively okay. And Storm has built an experimental unit, and I was correct, we are going to be seeing some Atlantis. I don't even know if I noticed the Atlantis whenever I was playing. I genuinely don't remember if there was an Atlantis in this game. This game happened a couple of hours ago. I was playing it, and I know that the end of it is very interesting, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you all today. But I kind of don't remember the first 30 minutes, honestly. So yeah, I have a shit memory. Let's see, over here we do have a lot of T1 units, but we are starting to see some T2 pour out from these factories. It still looks like Namir has a commanding lead in this Navy. I don't know if he knows that. Maybe he knows about those torp bombers from earlier, but I don't even know where those have gone. I haven't seen them in a nice little while. Are there a bunch of wrecks over here that would be torp bombers? No, there is not. I wonder where he's placed his torp bombers. I guess I can just do this. They're all sitting over here. So he does have torp bombers, which can definitely sway things, but we do have, I believe, still an air advantage for Team 2. We can see Azile currently sitting at 35 versus 37 for Fisheye. So a slight advantage for Fisheye. The air players relatively evenly matched. We can see a little bit of a scrimmage going on over here. Apparently I started to spam some T1 hover spam over here. We're having a bunch of Auroras with my Navy, which is, it's a good idea, but it's also a kind of a desperation play. I think I'm kind of desperate at this point. I don't know what exactly he has in terms of size of his Navy and whether or not he can actually just absolutely kill me off. But looking at it, he has more than enough to kill me off currently, unless I can kill off all of these surface units, which, I mean, maybe with the T1 spam I can. Unless I can kill all of those off, there's a very slim chance of me actually surviving this. We do have some Vespers, which are very powerful, and there doesn't seem to be a whole bunch of torpedo threat other than that Atlantis. We see some destroyers, but the UEF destroyers have pitiful torpedoes. So we will have to look out for that. We can see these shield boats are coming in and soaking up tons of damage. First shield switches offline, and a shield boat going down. It does look like I'm focus firing the shield boats. And yeah, I must have noticed this Atlantis. Or can I see it? I should be able to see it. Yeah, I can see it. So I guess at some point I did notice the Atlantis, and we'll have to see exactly how this fight goes, but it's looking relatively dire, not very good for my chances in this bottom sea. And we can see a ton of units dying and floating to the bottom of the sea there. Those Exodus classes just being annihilated as they show up. And more T1 Aurora spam are coming in, but that's not going to help anybody. And my entire Navy, save for 3 Vespers, has been destroyed. And those last 3 Vespers do not have a long lease on life. Another one coming out of the factory. My comm has been pulled back now. Let's go ahead and check on the rest of the map. I'm not seeing too much going on over here. So we'll go back down here and check on this. We can see the units pushing in. That factory, which just hit Tech 3, is gonna die. That T3 HQ is gonna go down. I still have a bunch of factories down here, and they are producing frigates, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. And we can see even more desperation coming out. I have my T3 engineers running away, my comm running away, everything's running away as I'm pretty much giving up right here. I don't believe I'm going to be able to do much, so I'm just going to get back. I believe that I might be going for RAS? Yeah, I go for RAS. I decide, hey, I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to just try and eco-horror away from my own base. And that is going to be that. So this bottom pond has been won, and these have been scouted out as Storm has done a very good job with the T1 scouts all game, just spamming them out, throwing them everywhere. And we can see that these frigates and these cruisers are going to kill off all of these factories slowly but surely. These engineers are, of course, probably going to die at some point, but, you know, everything going quite poorly for Team 2 in this bottom side. Willow's Duality has just completely given up on defending this. What a shit player, that Willow's Duality. Look at him. He's just running away, building land factories when he's playing Navy. Somebody report him for playing like a absolute idiot. Maru, you can visit my C2 if you won yours. That actually would be probably a pretty good idea. I'm saying actually way too much. That would be a very good idea. You could throw up some naval factories right here on the coast and just spam out a large enough navy to possibly challenge Namir, who has a commanding lead. He has T3 units, I believe, already being pumped out. We have a Summit class, or no, a Neptune class already pushing out of that factory, and another one already out. He does seemingly have some power issues, or he was having power issues, but he's not currently. And that is what's going on there. Let's see, sadly, I can't. All right. Let's go ahead and check on air numbers, as it does seem that Team 1 is possibly pulling ahead there. I didn't see an air battle, but there might have been one. We did see about 39 for Fisheye, if I read that, or no, 28 for Fisheye versus, oh yeah, you can already tell, 79 for Azile. So a massive air advantage. There must have been a fight, or there's just so much more build power in factories. There's 5 factories with some hives over here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 air factories out for Fisheye, and he's currently working on a Yelona Oz. How is that factoring into his mass income? He's overflowing, building a Yelona Oz with a ton of engineers, currently sitting at 364 mass a second. That might be the highest in the game. When we look at overall mass generation per the teams, we can see that now that I am hemorrhaging mass extractors, and we can see mass extractors dying for Namir, Team 2 has definitely fallen behind, but we have a total mass lead. And overall, we can see that Namir and Fisheye are both around 350 to 370 mass a second versus Storm, the front runner, at 431 mass a second, and Azile at 324. So about 100 more mass a second for Team 1 over Team 2, and that's going to quickly amount to a lead in the total mass accrued this game. And that's going to be very, very dangerous for Team 2, as this entire Southern Navy has just been absolutely deposed, just destroyed, and there is no control over it for Team 2 anymore. We do have Auroras attempting to come out, but we can just see they're being slaughtered before they even have the chance to fire. Oh, so many dead Aurora. And we can see a large movement of ASF coming down towards the southern pond. But they're gonna pull back for now. Is there anything interesting going on in the bases? We do have a nuke launcher on the way for Storm. Do we have any kind of game enders coming out from Azile? We have a Yelona Oz and a Stone Ager currently being produced. We have players currently switching over to that juicy support commander tech. We can see support commanders being produced by both players in the air position, both air players currently getting their mass generation to be mobile and tankier and more useful. A RAS SACU is infinitely more useful than a MEX. Does not produce as much mass, but does a lot more stuff. And as we can check now, we do have... I gave him a mass extractor, but now that I gave him my last mass extractor, and it's a T3, and now that I look at it in post, he didn't need it. He's not struggling for mass whatsoever. We're currently sitting around 15% for that Yelona Os. Does Team 2 know about this? They have scouted it, so there is a chance that they have seen it. There's no ping on it currently. Alright. And over here we have a Novax being built by Storm, which is going to be very, very useful, especially since if we look down here at the Yelona Os, and if they have spotted it, there is no shielding in the base of Fisheye, and there is pretty much no shielding out from me or Namir, except for over here on the front where we have a few shields up. There is very little going on in the way of defensive structures to deal with that Novax center, which could be very dangerous. We do have RAS SACUs out from Storm as well now. Morrow's comm is still over here in the middle, still currently building harms. He's built up a bit of a fire base over here, a lot of defenses, not really many on land, but a ton of torpedo defenses and a relatively large navy over here to help him hold against his opponents. We can see strat bombers being built and rallied to the back of the base over here for Azile. If we check on air numbers again, we'll have to see if possibly Fisheye has managed to catch up at all. We have 137 ASF for Azile versus 65 for Fisheye. Fisheye massively behind. He is building that Yelona Os, so maybe he can just clutch it out with that. That would be a very dangerous weapon if he can manage to get it online. I would like to see some shielding coming out from Fisheye on that Yelona Os. We have a massive navy over here for Namir. Let's just check on frigate numbers. We have 80 frigates, 4 Neptunes, 3 shield boats, 8 cruisers, and a partridge in a pear tree. Get into the holiday spirit, everybody. Oh, and in case you were wondering, 5 Valiant class destroyers, and we have 4 torpedo boats, 4 Coopers. So a very large amount of T1 units, but also a fair amount of T2 and a relatively large amount of T3. 4 Neptune classes is big, and a 5th one just rolled off the line for him. So he has a very powerful, commanding navy. Let's go ahead and check on the navy for Morrow, as we can see the base over here for Willow's Duality has just been completely destroyed. My base is in shambles. There's nothing left of it. They've even managed to use cruisers to make sure that I don't have any reclaim to easily gather. And I'm trying to turtle over here. I'm building mass fabricators. Oh man, and this is just looking very dire for Team 2. Is that Novax completed yet? It is completed. Where is the satellite itself, though? That is the question on my mind. Let's go ahead and select Storm. And they have pinged the yellow, so they know it's there. And here is the satellite flying over the middle currently. That could be extremely dangerous, especially if it gets over here. Do we know that this is existing? We do know about it. He needs to build a shield very quickly. We have a support commander landing down here for Storm. He's managed to airdrop a support commander, and he's going to start building a fire base to start throwing land units at Team 2, and that could be very, very dangerous indeed. Oh my, and the air battle is about to take place, but the units for Fisheye are just sitting there stalled. They're not moving. Oh, this is going to be a massacre. Oh, Azael is going to win this air battle so handily, and now he has strat bombers, which he can deploy to snipe off any player. The Yolona is being shot at by the Novax. This Yolona, I don't know how it survives. I genuinely don't know how this Yolona can survive this. Fisheye needs to move his comm. He's standing right next to a T3 power, and there's a whole bunch of strat bombers on the way. We don't know about them yet, I don't believe. Yeah, there's no intel as far as where those strat bombers are. Willow is dead. Oh my word, that's absolutely horrible for Team 2. Team 2 have been just thrown into this massive hole. And with that, Namir control Ks after the YOLO was destroyed. So that is ejection. That's making this into a 2v3 on this map. And that's a very dangerous situation to be in. All of his base going over to Fisheye, who now control Ks. Not like it would have mattered if he didn't control K, though. There's a Novax hitting his comm, and he only has 4,000 health, and here come in strat bombers to kill him off. So he would have died regardless, leaving Willow's Duality versus 3 players. Let's see if there's any comeback potential in this or not. There are a ton of strat bombers now, 4 of them. I guess that's not a ton coming in. So these 4 strat bombers don't pose a threat to kill off me, but they do pose a threat in just taking down my shields for that Novax Center defense satellite to come in and start wailing on me. I'm building T2 artillery to try and ward off this Navy, which seemingly has actually worked. I don't quite know how, but the shield goes down over there, and we're building another shield, and we're building SAM ASF. There's so much stuff just coming to try and kill this one comm. And this is a very dangerous situation. While all of this is happening, we have a attack over here onto the Navy for Team 2, onto Willow's Navy, formerly Namir's Navy. I don't know how well this attack's going to work. There is a lot of submarines here, and there's not that much anti-torpedo work going on here. There's not many torpedo boats to deal with all of this, but still there's such an overwhelming number of frigates, and there's Neptune classes coming in, and the shields over my comm have gone down, and I'm trying to run away and build shields, and I'm getting shot at by Novaxes, and there's strat bombers in the area. Let's get rid of that mini-map because it's not extremely useful. We have torpedo bombers coming in on the Navy over here. Another shield going up to keep my comm alive. Shields of light being thrown up instantaneously almost. Just one shield of light after the other. My comm's currently around 10k health, and it's the only thing standing between Team 1 and a victory right now is that one unit. It does look like I'm out of immediate danger for right now, so let's go ahead and go back to single screen, and we can see this attack was unsuccessful at killing off my Navy, but it is going to be successful at killing off most of my production structures. I've yet to come over here and re-queue up production on these naval factories, so anything I'm losing is not being replaced. All of the land units that Namir once had are now currently pushing forward. They're going towards the comm of Morrow, who's still over here in the front. He needs to get into the water, but I don't know if getting into the water is the right choice. He has harms in the water, so it's definitely the right immediate choice, especially if he's noticed and he sees all of this. There are Othams here. Othams have incredible DPS, and there is no main defense against them currently. There's no units to defend. There's nothing significant to defend for this. Let's enable the mini-map again just so we can see what's going on the rest of the map, and we can see that these Othams are just starting to plow damage into this power generator, which is right next to Morrow. He's trying to get into the water, but he can't because the Othams are too big and fat, and that's the ejection of Morrow, the first player other than the air player to be ejected, turning this from a 3v1 into a 2v1 and evening the odds just slightly. But overall, we can see the mass totals. They're almost producing twice as much mass every single second as me, and I'm not even spending all of my mass currently. I'm plus 97, overflowing so much mass. The enemy team is doing so much more than me at the moment. I have to start spinning my mass, and it does look like I've started a emissary T3 artillery over here, which is going to do wonders for us. And we actually have a teleportation of the comm of Storm. Storm was who's over here, who forced me out of the Navy, is teleported over here, but I have much more build power with these T3 engineers, and my PD are going up faster than his are, and Storm is going to go down on a failed teleport attempt, making this a 1v1 between me and Azile, and that is absolutely devastating for Team 1, losing 2 players. I don't know why Storm teleported. He did not need to. Why'd he go for that play? Finish him off. You're sending in strats one at a time. He is sending strats at me every second. You can see strats trickling in. And we see some strats over here coming for my comm. And there's always this constant bombardment from these cruisers, these Governor-class cruisers, constantly throwing more and more tactical missiles my way. My comm is currently trying to complete a shield of radiance, a radiance shield, and I don't complete it, and I decide to walk instead. What? No, complete the shield. No, you're walking out of shield. What are you doing? You silly comm. Oh, I'm gonna get hit by these strat bombers. Am I gonna get under the shield in time? I'm gonna eat 1 strat bomb, which is going to be down to 10,000 health, but now I'm underneath this shield, which has 21,000 health. Oh, barely surviving. I still don't understand the logic behind that teleport. I almost missed it, and I was in the game, and I remember that happening. It still surprised me because I was just like, I forgot that, like, I remembered that happened whenever I pulled up this replay, but I forgot it throughout the replay. I was like, why is he teleporting? Oh man, and we can see the navy that Namir had built up, and Namir honestly is being an MVP from the grave. His units were just sitting here, and I don't think that we understood just how much of an advantage he was building. There was no T3 land, there was no land defense. We could have walked these units over whenever he was alive. He could have done this. And this is just a lesson to not control K, to not give up. You might still have an advantage. Before you give up, throw everything at the wall. That is the moral of this story. As we see these units coming in, they're gonna kill off the Novak Center from the looks of it. Possibly kill off this Stone Ager, which doesn't quite have a nuke built, but could have a nuke built very quickly. And Teleporter on Azile is coming out. He is going for a Telemazer play. I don't quite know where his comm is. It's right over here. He's going for Telemazer, and now that I've run away from my PD defense over here, I don't have any teleport defense over here. Oh my word! I walked away from the one thing that would save me from this Telemazer. We will have to keep an eye on that. Laser is completing momentarily. We'll have to see, does he no, he's getting gun speed and range as well. He's going for the full damage suite. He's going to try and get as much damage out as quickly as possible. Is he teleporting yet? Is he immediately going for the teleporter, or was this just an attempt in case the game started going out of his control? He still does have more mass generation than me. He still has more production and more everything. The only place he's losing is this northern sea, and I guess he's kind of losing over here, this base, but this is dealable with. He has strat bombers coming over here, and this is all I have. I don't have any more land units. They've killed off the production of land units over here, but he's going for the teleport. Where is he teleporting? I would guess right next to the comm. And yes, he is. Am I going to notice in time? That teleportation is probably about halfway done at this point. And I do notice I start running away, and I'm sending all of the engineers to try and block his movement, try and keep him from chasing me down. If this teleport does not work, he is going to die. I'm building PD. I don't understand why they went for teleporter. Both of them. They both had plenty of opportunity to beat me without teleporter. I still don't really have an Air Force. I've started building ASF, but not very many. And we can see that he's right next to a PJ, and I should just Control K this and end it now, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to let him kill himself with his own mazer on my power gen. And with that, we went from a 3v3 to a 2v3 to a 1v3 to a 1v2 to a 1v1 to a victory. And this game just shows you, don't give up, guys. Come on. Literally, the fact that I took control actually made this game worse. If we had pressed our advantage, if we had attacked, if we had just decided to go for it as a team, we would have had a better chance of winning still, because we had such an overwhelming advantage. Honestly, Namir alone had such an overwhelming advantage in the Navy and the land that he could have pushed his advantage much earlier. It just goes to show you that there is so much you can do, and control K-ing is not the way to win in FAF. Don't control K if you still have a bunch of production, if you still have most of your base left, and if the enemy doesn't have a way to kill you in the next 30 seconds. Don't control K, keep playing, keep fighting. Rage quitting will never give you a win, but staying in it and fighting and not underestimating your opponents it can never go wrong for you. So stay in your games. I love all of you. You're beautiful. I'll see you around. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.